Hello, my name is Joe McGovern. Please join me in welcoming 5 members of the cast of the film. Fred Hechinger, Imani Lewis, Emily Robinson, Jake Ryan, and the amazing Elsie Fisher. Why don't we start? I'm going to just have all of you talk about your audition and how you first got involved, starting with Elsie.
Yeah, my audition was pretty standard. I was very excited because I was a fan of Bo's work, Bo Burnham, the director.
Who's a YouTube star and
yeah, and he did a lot of comedy too. Yeah, and it was great. It was just a very welcoming environment, and I got to kind of improv a bit with the script and learn how to be Kayla. And it was just very fun. It was a very fun process.
Did you and him hit it off right away? You and Bo?
Pretty much. I mean, I could sense that like he was an anxious person. He got that I was an anxious person. So we found a kinship in that.
And Fred, what about you?
Yeah, I went in for Trevor. First, I remember he called me Buddy Boy, and so that was like, I was like, is that good? Is that bad? And then my character was named Trevor, so I wore these shorts that had Trevor written on them. Because I thought, oh, okay, I'll do that for myself. And then he was like, oh, you're wearing those. And then I was like, oh, no, I messed it all up then. But it worked out, yeah.
Yeah, I had to improv a little bit. And he was like, just be yourself, just be Imani. I was like, all right. Turns on Imani. And just, it was a lot of improv. And, he gave some, guidelines. Like, okay, I'm going to give you this topic. Just talk about it. Just talk amongst each other. And I think by then I had met Elsie. And I think I had met Fred by then too, and then I met Emily. And yeah, I think he had complimented my sneakers. I had on a pair of Jordans. Yeah, I had on a pair of Jordans. He was like, I like those. Wow, I really like those. God. And then I ended up wearing them in the movie, so it's like, I guess he really liked them. But yeah.
How much did that, before I ask you, how much did that play a role in the filming, the improv quality? Was a lot of that scripted, or was that just your stuff when you were acting?
A lot of it was improv because Bo would just throw a word at us or throw a line at us and say, okay, just build a conversation on that. He just wanted it to be as natural as possible. But for the most part, when I'm talking about the feet, it's very improv. Yeah, very improv. I don't think he would take the time to, and then he DM'd a photo of your feet. It was very improv. But when it came back to the conversation, who's that guy over there? Very scripted. Yeah.
Emily, I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, I feel like the first thing that I remember from the chemistry read with the two of you was I remember Elsie, you have certain hand gestures, and I have really awkward arm gestures. So I feel so I feel like that was an instant bond moment where it's like, okay, cool, we're all awkward beings together. But it was a very welcoming, nice room, which was appreciated. Yeah, so we improvised some things, and then Fred joined us, and everyone was really nice. And then I left the room, and I was actually the last person cast. Yeah. So I left the room. They talked for a little bit, and then came out, and Bo was like, "Yeah, it's yours." I was like, "Oh, thank you, cool." That was my story.
Cool.
Jake.
Hi. Hello. So for the chemistry read for me and Elsie, we went in there. It was mostly improvised. Well, we were doing a lot of improvised stuff for the date scene, and she was wearing a Deadpool shirt with a taco stand next to it, and so you like tacos? And she's like, yeah, they're cool. And hard shell or soft shell, and he's like, you have it. I'm like, yay! It was. I remember finding 16 cents that day, so I knew it was going to be a good day. Okay. And then when I got there, everyone was just super nice. Everyone in the production was just the best,
But for you, part of the homework, I guess, in getting the role was you had to learn a magic trick, which never ended up in the final cut of the film.
Yes. It was an entire magic kit that I had to learn for a month. After a week after I found out I got the part, they sent it to me in the mail, and okay, so is it okay if you just try to try to learn this as much as you can. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, and and all I was a little disappointed that it didn't get in there, but I've been told that it will be in the deleted scenes.
'Cause
So
it was filmed.
it was filmed. It was like 8 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That like counted for one of the entire 5 days that I was there.
So, Elsie, can you talk about how universal this character is? I mean, I feel like every one of us in our life at some point has been Kayla, and how that sort of drew you in and made you have a lot of empathy for her.
Yeah, Kayla is a very special person to me, specifically, I think, just because, I struggle with anxiety, and I have for a long time. And to get to portray someone on screen who felt the same way I did felt very special to me. I think it's just beautiful, though, that so many people can find themselves in Kayla, or really any character in the story, just because I feel like it's easier to categorize ourselves because of traits we have, and just the fact that, like, there's such a broad spectrum, I guess, in the movie. I don't know what I'm saying, but
Did you work on creating a backstory for her? I mean, her mother, we find out pretty much near the end that her mother has just left. We don't really know anything else. But did you, in your mind, sort of develop a whole life for her?
Not really. I mean, truly, it was just about we only see a week of Kayla's life, so we just wanted to focus on making this week as honest as possible. But I mean, art is up to blah, blah, blah. But I mean, whatever. Your guess for her backstory is just as good as mine.
And do we also have to guess about Gucci?
Gucci, actually, that was my own nervous tick I had, because I get those. I was very nervous because this was my first time on the East Coast when we were filming the film, and this was my first lead. So instead of exiting conversation like a normal person with a goodbye, talk to you later, I would go, Gucci, and then thus prompting Bo to start embarrassing me about it. So he kept saying it. And then, just kind of caught on set, and it became so mundane that, like, people would be like, is this shot Gucci? So we filmed the videos last, and he wanted me to have a sign off, and it had to be Gucci.
Could Imani and maybe Fred too, and the rest of you talk about the tone of the film, because there are cringe moments, but we're not meant to be making fun of these people, and either as an audience or you guys as actors. Was that something that Bo specified when you guys were all working, that you were not there, you weren't doing, you weren't belittling these kids?
Yeah, we definitely did. That was never like intent. That's never ever anybody's intent. Well, at least not our intent to ever like belittle anyone. But I think the scenes that were like super cringy were the ones that resonated the most with people and were super intense. Especially like when Kayla's in the car with Riley. Like everybody cringes for Kayla because we're like, no, she was doing so well. She was learning so much about herself, and then here comes Riley. He's great though. Like the actual Daniel, he's actually a great person. Yeah, he's great. It doesn't seem like Anaya likes him very much, but it's like she knew something was wrong with Riley. I didn't know. I was like, why is she so mean to him? Until I put it together, I was like, oh, he's an ass. Okay. But yeah, like I think those cringy moments are what makes this film so special, because it makes it so real. If it makes you cringe in your seat, or if it takes you back to a moment in time in your life where you felt that same pressure but didn't know what to do, but managed to get out of it. I think those are the scenes that are the most real.
But also, and similar, like it wasn't about making it easier, the experience. I don't know, when I started in 9th grade too, like I remember the kids who were just had so much confidence in the most aggressive, like beat you down way. And so when it was our time to do that scene, it was also like I was able to emulate so many people I hated. And I didn't want to make the experience seem easier than it was, because even when it's just someone, talking like that, even just words, it's still kind of like beats you out. In some ways, like me and Daniel's characters are yin yangs, of me like pushing her away, and then Daniel's character really trying to take advantage of her too. So it was important to not belittle anyone, but show the truth of this kind of like unfair and aggressive and messed up behavior.
And also, like, just to talk about the Riley character a little bit, because Daniel's not here, I guess, and he can't talk about it. I think what he really does so beautifully with that character is he makes him relatable and he empathizes. You know, Riley and Kayla do have a moment of connection, and that's kind of what makes it so devastating. I mean, the moment when you kind of are like, oh, yeah, I hear, yours is quiet, I'm quiet, like it's beautiful, and then the fact that he is in that nice boy, he's the nice guy, and being in that position and then not, abusing that kind of trust that's been created is what's so, I think, devastating about the scene, and also like incredibly real.
So we have limited time, but let's see who in the audience has some questions. I see a hand right there. Yeah. Oh, we have a mic.
This film does a great job of showing mental health while growing up. Was there any advice given to you that helped you with mental health while putting your work out there as an artist or breaking into the industry, or any advice that you'd want to give somebody else in that position?
I don't know. I mean, I was never personally given any advice. Everything I know is just stuff I've kind of picked up on and struggled to find out myself. But for anyone who is an actor, or anyone doing anything ever, I don't know. I mean, like, anxiety is especially what I struggle with. I have problems with depression too, but like, the thing is things might suck always, and that's not great. But you gotta put your mental health first. But if this is something you really aspire to and you think that's gonna make you happy, go for it. I know it's scary, and I know you might not have any energy or motivation to do it, but if this is truly what you think you could see yourself doing, then go for it. And if it makes you feel terrible inside, then just don't.
Has it been very touching for you, the response you've received? I mean, this movie premiered at Sundance about 6 months ago or more now. I've noticed on social media you've engaged with some people a little bit who have said how special it meant for them, who suffer from anxiety or whatever. What's that experience been like, just from the fans?
It's just been absolutely positive. Like, it's been overwhelming in the best way possible. And it's just so special because, I mean, we had so much fun making this thing. It's like, oh, yeah, no one's going to like this because, like, it's fine. We got to make it. That was so much fun. But it's like, no, this is too good. And the fact that the response have been, it's been so positive is, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm so happy that other people can find any, just feel better after watching it, or just understand their feelings a little better.
Well, it's very universal. I mean, we all get nervous.
Yeah.
Who else? Yes.
I'm gonna stand. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi Fred. I've known Fred for like 5 years. It's crazy. So my question is for Elsie, but for any of you who can contribute. This is my third time seeing the movie. I'm very starstruck by all of you. I love it so much. And me and my female friends who saw it the first time, we could not stop talking after about how we could not believe a man directed the car scene so beautifully with so much nuance and subtlety, because that's such a, I think specifically like young female experience to be so like overwhelmed. And then that really specific part after is so real and like moving, where to see that out on screen where she's like apologizing to the guy who like was awful to her. That is so real. Even I'm like 26 years old and that is still happening. Like, and I think that was such a beautiful thing to see actually portrayed, because we all experienced it. And so I'm wondering if Bo, as a director, asking women on set about their experiences, trying to get feedback to make that realistic, because it was so realistic. And again, me and my female friends are just like, how did a man do that? Because it is so perfect and beautiful.
I mean, I can't speak for Bo, so I don't know if he actually did ask people. He was always open to hearing input, though, from not only the cast but the crew as well, just because he was very aware that he was a man writing about a young female person. Although truly, I think this spans throughout the entire movie, because people ask me if I was surprised that he wrote such a compelling story about a teenage girl. And after the audition process, I hadn't even known him that well, and I was truly not, because after reading the script, it really just was to me a story about someone who was feeling certain things right now, writing about someone else who was feeling that, I think he just did a fantastic job throughout the entire film, and I'm very appreciative he made this.
I just want to say I work in a middle school, and you are incredible, all of you. The dialogue rang so true to me. and all of the different characters are just today, currently, it's exactly how it is. Really amazing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know if you, when you were making the movie, did you improvise those at all, or were those exactly written, except for the Gucci?
Yeah, for me at least, mostly everything was written. The one improvised part I actually had was during the chicken nugget scene, the little Rick and Morty exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean everything. I was allowed leeway to throw in whatever ands and ums I kind of wanted. But for the most part, it was written that way. It was written with the thing about being confident is. I'm sorry, I'm reading these off paper. No, that was like the initial draw for me though, because all I saw in the audition process was her videos, and I was so interested by the way she talked because I'm like, that's how I talk. Yeah, I'm glad though that working in a middle school you kind of see that stuff. I don't know. I think that's really cool.
You're a very self-aware 8th grader, I have to tell you. Most of the
Well,
8th graders are not.
I'm
that.
15 now,
I
so
know, but you're very.
get ready for me
self-aware.
sophomore year.
Did you have a question?
Thanks. You probably don't need to hear me through this. But I was wondering, so I came with my middle school sister. So, and I think, sorry for putting you out there, we can both relate to it like on different sides of the spectrum. But when I was your all age, like I didn't have the social media aspect. So I was, which was like palpable throughout the movie, like your face lighting up in bed and stuff. How do you think the anxieties of your character and your age group are sort of manifested and heightened by like the Instagram and the Twitter and all the things she's constantly going through?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely amplified because with the internet and social media, there comes a self-awareness that we get a lot earlier. So I think we're so wrapped up in self-image and not in not in a confident way. It is scared because we're all trying to fit in, and we're so worried because there's this new permanence with the internet. So any mistake you made can literally be recorded for forever. And it can be difficult though because you're also seeing all the things you're missing out on and all the things you have already done. So yeah, I think it just makes us all more self-aware, and despite being created to help connect us, I think we're all a lot more lonely. So
You had advice for young kids who are about 10 or so to maybe postpone.
Yeah, just maybe stay off of it until you're a little older. I just got social media recently to promote the movie and stuff, and I am not ready for this, at all.
thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah, go catch a friggin' Squirtle or something. I don't know.
Guys, we got to go, but congratulations to all 5 of you, especially Elsie. And
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.